Good evening and welcome into another episode of the Barking Brown Show. It's Tuesday. Free agency is sort of legally started, but not officially. So welcome in. I'm Jacob, Mr. Casey Kinnaman, Nick Cards down below. We're brought to you as always by our friends over at SeatGeek. Use our promo code Barking Browns, all one word, get $20 off your first purchase. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, give us a little thumbs up, do that kind of shit. I'm a little stuffed up and it's been a little bit of a day, so that's what we're in for. Gentlemen, how are we?
It's fine. Whatever.
I still don't have Blackberry Dr. Pepper, and that sucks. I'm going for the Darth Vader type lighting today because I feel like that's where we're at currently. But this is just the beginning. I'm just gonna come right out and say it. I was shocked by the Kenny Pickett trade. I was shocked. I saw it. I saw a trade, Kenny Pickett, and I was like, oh, I wonder where he's going. And then I saw Cleveland Browns, and then I was like, huh.
I had it the reverse. So I got into my hotel room after work and I set my stuff down and my phone had just gone. I literally think it had just been announced. My phone buzzed, my phone went off or whatever. I put all my stuff down. I look at my phone and I see Browns. That's what I see. And I'm like, great. Hasn't done shit all day. And it said Kenny Pickett. And I'm like, what? I was like, there's no way that's what it just said. There's no way. They're like, oh, they traded DTR and a draft pick. And I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. What? And then I call these idiots, and they're both like, Nick's like, I don't want to talk about it. Casey's like, shut up. But I hadn't even said anything. He was telling me to shut up. He's like, stop. I don't want to hear it. And then Nick's like, Pickensburg is coming for me. And that's probably the best thing that happened out of all of this is that it fired all that shit up. But dude, Casey, I think you said it, Casey, in with Randy in the group chat or something. I think it was somebody said it. They're like, I didn't even know that was a possibility. That wasn't even on the radar of things that could happen.
And see, that's where I'm mad at myself because I doled out my advice to everyone. I was like, prepare yourselves. It's not going to be a sexy name, but I didn't think it'd be this fucking ugly. I didn't think in my wildest dreams that Kenny Pickett was on the bingo card. I undersold it to myself. I was preparing. And then, we got guys in the chat talking about Danny Dimes, and that's about as low as of a name as I was willing to go.
Right.
It's like, okay, and then it hit me with Kenny Pickett. It's like, and then you do that on day one of free agency?
Yeah,
that market was about to heat the fuck up or something? Better hurry up and get that Kenny Pickett. Take wrap under locks before that bidding war starts. It's like, I don't know. And the fact that if you had told me, okay, they're just going to swap DTR for another third string quarterback, fine. You gave up an asset with it too, which is like, did you really need that to seal the deal? Did Howie pull your pants down? Did you really need to do that?
What did they give for him last year? Do you remember what Philly gave for him?
No.
I'm curious. I'm going to look that up.
Okay.
I'm just curious.
But I can tell you the Browns gave up the same asset to get Kenny Pickett that they got for Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, but they've given fifths for Jerry Jeudy, Za'Darius. I can name a bunch of them. One name doesn't fit.
Yeah.
What I mean?
Okay. I just want to add this to the conversation because,
just to be clear, last year Philadelphia acquired Kenny Pickett and a 4th round pick for a 3rd round pick.
Okay. Well, so here's where I come out on the Kenny Pickett thing. I don't like giving up a pick. I don't like giving up a pick, but I can accept that under the premise that like they say, okay, quarterbacks 1, 2, and 3 are all really important to us, and if they're playing the money game, which we know they are, and you're saying Kenny's better than Dorian, okay, I can accept that. And you're saying Kenny's making what, like $2 million a year, so
Yeah, he's on a rookie deal. It's like 2.3.
right. So the fifth that you gave up is almost a sixth because it's the Lions pick. So all right. And I can understand that you're giving up a later pick to get a cost controlled asset that like is going to be your quarterback 3. If you say Kenny Pickett's your quarterback 3, I'm cool with it. Okay. What made my blood boil yesterday is Ian Rappaport comes out and says, this is a tremendous opportunity for Kenny Pickett. I expect him to get an opportunity to compete to start. And that is a non-starter for me. Like
But did somebody who knows what the fuck they're talking about the organization say that?
I haven't seen it from anybody besides Ian. But it's Ian Rappaport, man.
Kenny Pickett's the only one on the damn roster right now.
QB1 today.
He's the only one on the roster. Of course he's going to compete.
I just don't even say. I don't want to hear it. Why?
Well,
okay,
so even if he is QB3, when's the last time a QB3 hasn't played for us? When's the last time we won a season without QB3 making starts?
So I
know. Casey said that to me today, and I was like, "Oh shit, he's right."
To go from the high of keeping Myles Garrett to the low of Kenny Pickett's going to compete to start is why okay, fine. Maybe he won't. Maybe he won't see the field. I hope not, because he didn't see the field for Philly besides in the Super Bowl with like one play when it was a blowout, right? They just kept Jalen Hurts healthy all year. I think that's correct.
No.
He was Philly's quarterback too, right?
Yeah, Kenny Pickett played.
Did he play?
Yeah, Jalen Hurts missed some time.
Okay. All right. So I'm just totally.
Tanner McKee played too.
Okay. But
Kenny Pickett played. He had 50 dropbacks. He threw for 291 yards and 2 touchdowns. And
if I remember correctly, he played a game. He got hurt at the end, and he hurt his hip.
Yeah, and then that's when Tanner McKee played.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I guess when Myles Garrett returned, and you're saying Joel Bitonio is returning, and then all of a sudden it feels like the momentum's building up for like this quarterback that you're going to get, and so they trade for Kenny Pickett, and then the rumors today are all this like Kirk Cousins, and I'm just like, man, we have gone down this road where a dude was good like 2 years ago. He's coming off an injury. He just played his worst season as a pro, and I'm just like, I went from like this place of hope that we're going to get a quarterback that we can really have hope in to like Kirk Cousins and Kenny Pickett and like some rookie. And I just like am not thrilled about that, I guess.
All right, Jeff, I'm looking at your comment and you're battling yourself here. You said with a room of McCorkle, Tiny Hands, and Dart, who says no. And then you say we're giving quarterback 3 too much energy. Dude, he might be quarterback 1 of those other 2 dudes you just listed. You don't think Kenny Pickett can beat out McCorkle Jones? Like that's who he's got to battle. Like
if it's McCorkle versus Kenny Pickett, yeah, there's a pretty good chance it's Kenny Pickett. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So he ain't QB3 then.
And that's why I'm angry, man. You didn't bring back Myles. Like if you are gonna if Kenny Pickett is gonna be out there for you, you should have just traded Myles Garrett and rebuilt the whole fucking team. I'm just so irritated. I get it. There's a lot more of this picture to fill, and maybe Kirk can we don't even have Kirk Cousins, but it seems like everything's pointing that maybe he can be better 2 years off of his injury or whatever. But I just had such higher hopes of we're gonna go in and we're gonna compete because I just can't. You cannot sell me on Kenny Pickett and keeping Myles Garrett. At that point, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't. I don't want to be a downer. I'm just very frustrated.
I will ask the question to play devil's advocate that Jeff is asking. Okay, so what quarterback that is signed so far should they have to sign that you would have made you content?
I
Not
would say
not
Yes.
not
nobody. I would say signing nobody's better than signing Kenny Pickett. I would have more
uh,
hope sitting here today had they not made a move for any quarterback if you're just waiting on Kirk anyway.
Kenny Pickett's
I,
better than DTR by default. And I get it. There's a pick in there too. Sure. But Kenny Pickett is better than DTR. So your quarterback room, as it stands today, is better than it was at the beginning of the day yesterday.
It was
I,
negative. It was negative yesterday. It's negative today.
Okay, but it's
He doesn't
better.
do shit for you. He doesn't do shit for your room, dude. Like
It's better.
like,
DTR's a practice squad player. We're really that's the bar. That's the
I,
bar.
I'm
You told Miles
I
Garrett on
didn't
coming
say
back.
it. I
Oh,
didn't
buddy.
say it was high.
Like, okay, and there's this other piece too. Jerry
Yeah.
Jeudy goes on with Kay Adams yesterday and says they need a quarterback. David
Mhm.
Njoku said they need a quarterback. Denzel Ward said they need a quarterback. Miles Garrett
Yeah,
said they need a
chill.
quarterback. And so the signs right now point to recycled Kenny Pickett, recycled Kirk Cousins, and some later draft pick, and that just is a non-starter for me. Why are you trying to compete with that? What road that leads to nothing and nowhere? I just
When did we get to later draft pick?
because if they're not going to take a quarterback at 2, they're taking somebody else that like. I'm trying not to jump the gun. I know I'm jumping the gun.
I just
Really
think we're
trying not to.
overreacting to one move that I think is kind of. I get it because the other move's not there yet. Because there's going to be another move, so I get that aspect of it. But I told Casey today, I said, I feel like people are acting like the 5th round pick they gave up was a 1st round pick. And all I'm saying is, because you bring up a point, Casey, you said this earlier too, like, oh, it's a practice squad. Like DTR is a practice squad guy. I'm like, well, aren't a lot of 5th round picks end up on the practice squad? So like, you got rid of DTR and you spent your 5th round pick on Kenny Pickett.
You could get a starting running back at 165 this year.
I can get a starting running back in the 6th round this year. I could still do it.
Do you want to wait? I'm just saying.
No, hell no. I'm picking higher. I'm not. You know where I am with this running back class. I'm picking fucking higher because I'm taking 2 of them some bitches.
No.
But fuck, I lost it.
I'm seeing dudes pine for McCorkle Jones and Carson fucking Wentz.
Well, yeah, no, that's
Okay. That's
yeah.
it. That's dark. That's dark, man. Can't do that.
No, yeah. No. I got it. I get that part.
I would have liked Joe Flacco. That's who I still want. I still want Joe Flacco. I think I would rather have him over Kirk Cousins, and I'm just going to stand on that hill until the end of time.
Well, Kirk Cousins doesn't want to come to Cleveland.
He doesn't want to come to Cleveland?
No.
Well, none of it matters right now because he's an Atlanta Falcon, but he's going to have to be coerced into coming to Cleveland if he gets out of the Atlanta thing. And something we've downplayed the entire time is he's going to have more than one suitor.
Yeah.
True.
You know what I mean?
True.
And it's not going to be like, well, I'll go to Cleveland or I don't play football. You know, it'd be different, but he's going to have different opportunities. And, you know, I just putting all of your eggs in that basket and you have to wait. That's dangerous.
Yeah, and that's why I don't think they have. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people keep acting like it. Like Zach Jackson goes on the radio and says they'll have him by the weekend. And I'm like, based on what? Because everything else that I've heard, that is not the case. If he's even
he was
there.
like adamant about it too. He's like, this is happening.
Was. I was on the OBR the React show earlier. I was listening to some of that. And I heard the clip, the clip there, and I was like, that's just not. I don't know, man. Like I think we thought the first, because we all knew there were going to be multiple quarterback moves.
Yeah,
but I think we thought the first one would make a little bit more sense. I guess.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it feels like insurance. And the problem is sometimes you got to use the insurance. So
I agree with you, Jacob. It's better than DTR, right? I would probably rather have with like Dorian was a total disaster and has basically been a total disaster outside of the Pittsburgh game we watched together, right? And that was like a drive that which he did beat Kenny Pickett, but that's neither here nor there. So
he's 1-0 against Kenny Pickett. Jesus.
yeah, well, I
So-
do agree. I do agree. Kenny Pickett is probably a quarterback I'd rather have than Dorian at this point. I agree with that. I'm jumping the gun and in my feelings, and I totally admit that. I just had such strong belief that they were going to take a quarterback at 2, and I guess my faith has been shaken. And I know you've said that Jalen Milroe has all these tools, or like people talk about Will Howard or Jackson Dart or whatever. I just really thought the Browns, like, I'm looking at it and saying, okay, if they do go, let's say they go the Kirk Cousins, just for situation's sake, let's say they go the Kirk Cousins route. I'm looking down the road and I'm saying, if you're drafting like a Will Howard or a Jalen Milroe or whatever, like there's a chance that dude can pan out for you. But then you look at it and you say, well, this 2026 quarterback class is supposed to be this where you get your guy.
no,
And
stop. Full stop. Don't.
Why?
Do that. Don't. I hate that shit. And I'm a draft guy. Nothing is certain about future draft classes.
Which is exactly why I want them to take a quarterback early now and just build around that dude. I see like the Minnesota Vikings right now, right, that are just spending into whatever, and the Washington Commanders that just have this rookie quarterback contract and they can just spend however they want to. And I feel like that's the path for the Browns, and I just don't feel like that's the path they're going to take. And I guess that's my biggest frustration. What do I know? I'm no expert, but I don't feel like what they're doing, it makes sense. Like you bring back Myles Garrett, you bring back Joel Bitonio, and the picture is far from painted. And I admit that, but it just seems like it seems more likely than not that they're just going to go with the unsexy options that we've talked about here. And that just could not excite me less.
You ever know something that's funny? There's a lot of buzz, like a lot of buzz about Tyler Shuck, right? The Louisville quarterback. He's just a few months younger than Kenny Pickett.
That's nuts.
Kenny Pickett's 26. I think Kenny Pickett might actually turn 27 during the season, and Tyler Shuck turns 26 in September. So you get what I'm saying, somewhere in the range of like a year. And that's why like people are like, oh, that Tyler Shuck, he's got an arm. And I'm like, I don't give a shit. I drafted a 28-year-old rookie one. Was Whedon 26 or 28?
28. Maturity, baby.
It still sounds unreal. And I know it happened. I watched it. I saw it happen, and I still don't believe it happened.
I'm going to stop crying now. I'm going to get out of my feelings and stop crying. I'm going to stop because we don't know who they're going to have at quarterback yet. So it's not worth being negative.
I think everybody is upset. I think everybody's even more upset because they thought they would find out that question quickly. You know what I mean? Like, I think, because I think I did. I think I thought. I did. I think I thought that.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that I was like, man, I think that we'll at least have a decent idea. And we did, kind of. But that was Kenny Pickett. So you're like, oh, okay. So we get that quick answer, and it's is what it is. So they brought recent news for anybody that did not see. Devin Bush is back.
Oh, is he back? Okay. Yeah, I was not here for that.
Devin Bush back on like a 3-year, $3 million. It's like a 1 year, $3 million deal. And I'm like, he was pretty good.
Okay.
Like he was pretty good. Like, they let him do what he's good at. Be a freaky athlete that just sometimes guesses right. You just set him because if he guesses right, man, and if he's in the right spot or he goes in the right direction, he's a freaky athlete at that position. It's just
Mhm.
that he guesses wrong a lot. But
Yeah,
this
he'll miss
year,
big. When he misses big.
he, you know what? And I know you know. I can guarantee both of you motherfuckers had this coaches tell you the same thing. But you remember in Little League, they'd be like, if you're going to mess up at 100 miles an hour.
Yep.
And
Yep.
that is what Devin Bush does.
Yep.
He does everything at 100 miles an hour. And I can appreciate that part of it.
It's like Jim Schwartz to a T, man.
Maybe that's why it works so well. Because they like Jim's like, I get it, bro. We're spirit animals. Check this out. Do this shit. Prevail. They're like, it'll be okay.
I do like Devin Bush being back. I think that was one of those Andrew Berry scrap heap signings that has worked out. Like no, he's not like amazing, but he's a contributor. He's a contributor. I'm good with that.
First year reclamation project.
Yeah.
Speaking of, they did 2. I said first year. I meant first round reclamation.
Yeah,
Is what I meant to say. They did 2 today. 2 first round reclamation projects today. With Joe Tryon. Say his last. Is
Shoyinka?
Shoyinka?
Sure.
Shoyinka?
Sure.
I've heard it before, but it's been a while. I bet you I could spell it better than I can say it. Which is not easy. You want me to SHO? Is there a J? Is there a
Joe?
J? No, in his last name.
Oh, I have no idea.
I thought
JTS, man.
Son of a bitch. He's already.
I'm a roller coaster, man. I am a roller coaster. I just am.
I don't know.
I am. I'm sorry. I'm trying not to be.
Joe Tryon Shoyinka. Anyway, I loved Joe Tryon. When he was coming out, I don't know if there's a vowel in there or not, Jason. I really don't fucking know. When he was coming out, it was just Joe Tryon. I think until draft day, and then when they drafted him, they're like Joe Tryon Shoyinka, and I was like, where did that come from? But I liked him a ton. He got wickedly overdrafted. Like he was a dude I was mocking in like the 3rd round, and then Tampa took him at like 31 or 32 or whatever it was. That might have been the year after they won the Super Bowl, so it was like 32 or whatever. Super hyper athletic dude, had like a 919 RAS. He just never put it all together. But in terms of, I mean, he can win with power too, pretty effectively. There's some speed, some power. He was a pass rusher out of Washington. What was that? 21, 22? He was
in the 21 draft.
21. So is a 15 career sacks. Like I said, it just never really came together for him. But it's another guy where you're like, hey, this is probably your 3rd or 4th defensive end. And as far as 3rd or 4th defensive ends for the price that they paid, I'm good with it. I thought it was a fine signing.
Yeah, rotational guy, probably puts Ogbo on the outs, you know.
Okay, and I saw some other chatter about that, putting Ogbo on the outs. What, like, has he not been good for us? I felt like he's a contributor. Like is that just? Are they just saying the contract's not worth paying? Or
this kid's getting paid less, and he's younger.
Yeah,
and it's rotational. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't a guy you're counting on for major snaps. You're going to try to bleed him in, let him get in advantageous situations, get after quarterbacks.
Sure.
Okay. I thought Obo was good, better his first year. I thought last year was kind of a drop off.
That's probably fair.
But yeah, get a little bit younger.
Well, the defensive end room, the pass rushing room is. I expect Alex Wright to continue building, right? And McGuire had some nice plays too. That is one room that they really fill well. That is one room that they just seem. And so I don't know. Like
good edge class too.
Right. Do you think they're going to take Abdul Carter? Is
Yes.
that the path?
It is about one. It's whatever happens at one.
That's what happens at one.
If Cam's there at two, no, I think they'll take Cam. I don't think they're going to pass him up.
Yeah.
But if Cam, Detroit, like Tennessee could break our hearts. They could get him or they could trade out to someone else that gets him. And then, yeah, either you trade back or you take Abdul Carter.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's where I've ultimately come to. And I'll do some different things on my mock drafts. God Lord. I cannot get this crap out of my nose. I sound like just poop. I'll do some different things on my mocks on Mondays, but ultimately it's Cam Ward if he's there. Personally, I'd still go up to one. I know a lot of people don't want to. They don't want to give up those drafts, but I think franchise quarterback's worth it. So I would go up there and get Cam Ward. But if you're not 100% on Cam Ward and you're like, well, if he's there, we'll do it, or we'll take a really special athlete at a premium position and we'll roll with that. So yeah, I'm with you, Casey. I am very much a Cam Ward, Abdul Carter trade back guy.
It all depends on what is actually in Tennessee's heart.
Yeah.
If they're set on Abdul Carter, we're the only trade partner that can guarantee that.
Right.
Because if you trade down to 3, that ain't on the table for you now. If the Giants,
I'm not letting them get him. If they let the Giants hop me for Cam Ward, I'm taking Abdul Carter.
Well, I would use that as leverage to get the first pick for less. You know, you can gain assets, still get your guy.
Yeah, I'm double burdening it. That's what I'm doing. If it's super cheap, I guess.
Well, missing out on Hargrave changes the equation. When we thought you were getting Hargrave there for a couple minutes, when we thought that was a reality, I wouldn't have entertained Draymond because the draft at defensive tackle is nasty, straight up nasty.
You take 2 of those guys too if you wanted to.
For sure.
That could be that's a great position. That Mason Graham in a trade back. Sure. If he's there as your trade back candidate, because I think Mason Graham, we talked about it on the OBR show yesterday that Brad Ward was talking, like defensive tackle takes a little bit of time, so you don't want to put too much on a rookie defensive tackle.
They're special.
And I think Mason Graham is different, especially as a run blocker or run defender.
Yeah.
So, I think it's a special circumstance, but, yeah, I mean, I don't know what Draymond would cost is the question.
Well, and I think this segues really nicely into another piece of news, with Dalvin Tomlinson being June 1st cut, right? So they are definitely, I know you drafted Michael Hall, and maybe his name escapes me. Jawan Briggs. Maybe Jawan Briggs has some staying power on the roster. I'm not sure as a depth tackle, but I think you still need, somebody to put next to Michael Hall. That's I'll tell you what. Somebody like Mason Graham would pair really nicely with Michael Hall, right? You get the pass rush from Michael Hall. You get the run stopping from Mason Graham. That would. I feel like that could be a fun combination there in the middle. I don't know if you're gonna get one of these guys and you do trade down, maybe that's the path. Maybe that's the path that they need to take. Maybe they just need a talent infusion across the roster so bad that they can trade down, take advantage, get some extra picks. Hopefully, maybe even draft 2 running backs. I don't know, or I don't know, or draft 2 defensive tackles or whatever. Maybe that's just the path they need to accept that they're going to take.
Could you let's be crazy here. Let's trade back, get a second number 2, and then let's use both of them to trade up. Just to get wild. Hey, do you remember that year? Who was that? Was that Rod? There was somebody who was in our comments every year telling us to trade up, but he didn't even know who we were trading up for.
just to do it, just for
he just kept telling us
for the love of the game.
He was just like he was just like, can we got to trade up and get aggressive. It was like, for who? And he's like, I don't really know. We just need to be aggressive. I don't remember who that was, but
Jeff, I think there's some things that are still unsettled here. Like I know all has gone quiet on this front, but there was like the Greg Newsome plus a pick for Brandon Ayuk rumors, that kind of stuff. You watch the Cavs?
It just made a half court shot to end the third.
Oh baby,
I was past half court.
But I just think that they could open up avenues to where maybe they would need to draft more rookies. I don't know how many rookies you want on your team, but I know that overnight the roster has gotten really old. Like if you told me they drafted 2 running backs from this class, I would have no problem with that. No problem whatsoever.
This would be a great draft to do it. You could double up tight end in this draft. You could double up running back, defensive tackle.
Right. Yeah. And if you're not going to trade for a guy like Michael Mayer, you definitely need 2 more tight ends. Right. I'm assuming they'll sign one, but they really need to get some youth in that room. Safety is still a big question. Like Juan Thornhill's gone, right? You gotta add somebody there. And I think they've shown prowess drafting corners, and as much as we all love Denzel Ward, I'm still deathly afraid of another more concussions for him. Like I would love to see them draft another corner, especially with Greg Newsome on the outs and Emerson taking a step back last year. There's a lot of positions. Like I'd like you could talk me into drafting multiple offensive linemen. There's a like so I guess in essence, the more I think about Jeff's question about do we need that many rookies, I could certainly see a path. What do you guys think?
I like to use the ammunition that you had until you traded 165. God damn it, you could have used that to package to come up and get and pick more in that sweet spot. Because they actually announced the picks today. We don't have Mr. Relevant now.
Yeah,
we're not picking at 257. Picking at 254. Is that it, Jacob?
254, okay. I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
They announced the official comp picks, which I thought was already done. I don't know. I missed something. I don't know why we were operating under that assumption.
Yeah, that was kind of what I thought, but I don't know.
Well, the whole time Andrew Berry was like, I think we'll have 11 picks. He kept saying that in his presser. I'm like, dude, you got 12. We've been operating with 12 this whole time. So he knew.
Yeah.
I guess I entered this offseason, especially when the Myles Garrett thing happened. I just entered saying they're going to pick a quarterback high. They're going to just reboot this thing, and they're going to build around that dude, and that's why everybody's coming back. And now I'm way less sure than I ever felt before.
I was never sure on that just because they're in a win now year.
Yeah.
You can't put all that on a rookie. You just can't. You can catch lightning in a bottle every once in a while, but for every Daniels, there's 5 guys who go 5 and 12.
Can I tell you why? Can I sell you on Jackson Dart?
You could try. It has to start with the words third round, though.
That's not going to happen. And I'm not even telling you that it shouldn't. I'm just telling you that it's not going to happen. Was told that Flacco's in the mix.
Me too, Kristen. Me too.
Not sure how much he's in the mix, but it is definitely not zero.
I like not zero, especially with the Colts signing Daniel Jones today. That's a quarterback room.
Here's what I'll say about Jackson Dart. He is a younger Bo Nix. And it's you got to thank Kyle Krabs for this, because I didn't see it until I read his report. Because I've read pretty much almost all of. I love Kyle Krabs over at the 33rd team. Does fantastic work. The Locked On NFL Scouting podcast with him and Joe Marino is fantastic. I listen to it all the time. I try to read a lot of his stuff, and when I'm working on my draft profiles, if you want to see my draft profile on Jackson Dart, it is live over at theovr.com. I've got like 5 or 6 minute videos of cut up film on there as well. He's like pro comparison Bo Nix, and I'm like, and whenever you hear that, you're like, okay, so what is it? Jackson Dart thrives as an extension of his offensive play caller. We keep saying, can you find a Bo Nix in this class? Well, the guy that plays like Bo Nix, and I think he's got a little bit of a bigger arm. You know, people really shit on Bo Nix's arm like it's not good. Like, Bo Nix has a good arm. Like,
I agree.
It's like, oh, he's just like this check down Charlie and whatever. And it's like, does he check down a lot? Yeah, sure he does. But he's got an arm. And I think it's the same. It's the same thing about Jackson Dart. And I still have massive reservations. I watched like 8 games this weekend. And I've seen more than that, but I watched 8 games this weekend, and I think I saw him take 4 snaps from under center, which is like, but of all the things
he took 12 his entire career.
Okay, I think I saw him do 4, and 3 of them were to take a knee. 3 of them were him taking a knee.
Yeah.
I wonder how many of those 12 are him taking a knee, and the rest are probably quarterback sneaks. That's probably what they were. Of all the things, though, like that aspect of it, of all the things that I'm like, oh, he'll be fine with practice, that party, he'll be fine with practice, I think. But that does put you behind the 8 ball on the learning curve of getting up to speed with the NFL if you don't know how to take snaps from under center. I don't like that. I don't like that it's a cookie cult that he stares down his first wide receiver too much. It's a cookie cutter, Mickey Mouse hand-holding offense. But at the same time, we've talked about a million times how Kevin Stefanski builds offenses like that. And I'm like, shit.
Okay.
Here's the thing about it. I'm still not going. I'm not. What are they saying on Twitter? What are they saying? They're saying party for Darty. Is that what they're saying?
Darty parties?
Darty parties? Is that what they're saying?
Yeah.
That's my favorite one, by the way. Of all the nicknames, I think the Darty parties is probably my favorite. I ain't throwing any Darty parties yet. He's still a day 2 prospect for me. I'd be very clear about this. But I see it. I don't see this top 20. I don't see that. There's just too many deficiencies. Where it's like, I wrote in my thing, I don't know if he can process a complex defense or a complex route scheme because he's never done it. He's never shown it. He might be able to. You know what I mean? But we haven't seen it. You don't have evidence. That is one, Casey, I wonder if you agree with me. That is one guy that I wish I could be in there when they have him on the whiteboard just to see. But
yeah, because part of it's, am I penalizing him because of the offense he was in?
Right.
But you say he's like Bo Nix. I'd say this: Oregon's a way more complex offense than what Lane's running.
Yes, but the way he operates,
the different complexity of understanding of how to shift against a defense as opposed to this is your first read, it's there, it's not.
Yeah.
I mentioned this to you the other day. If I'm looking for a pro comparison, and this is not what he is now, but when he was coming out, I think Jackson Dart is Will Levis with better publicity. Like, I see the exact same skill set. And if you were to look at Will Levis's junior tape with Liam Cohen in his junior year, I'd see the same exact shit. The physical tools are all there. Will Levis has all the physical tools.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, but I don't think. I think the turnovers.
Huh?
I think the turnovers with Will Levis are
They weren't
way.
there. I'm telling you, his junior year under Liam Cohen, that was his Lane Kiffin. If you look at Will Levis's junior year with Liam Cohen, who's the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars now, that tape right there, to me, that is Jackson Dart. I'm not saying it can't work. I'm just saying I'm not spending high equity to find out. If he falls in line with the level of talent that I think that he is, I'd be 100% cool with bringing him in.
Sure.
But I'm not spending to do it.
I think these conversations are why I still want Joe Flacco so much because because listen, I get Kirk Cousins could have more upside, right? Because 2 years ago, before he tears his Achilles, he was probably on his way to like his best year as a pro. Him, Justin Jefferson, and Jordan Addison were cooking in Minneapolis until he tears his Achilles, and I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. But if you're going to take a rookie that has these questions, that this type of thing, I need a guy I know can go out there and just be rock solid for me. And to me, of the remaining quarterback options, short of getting crazy with Aaron Rodgers, which I don't think is going to happen, I think Joe Flacco is just that dude that you could say, like, could he start all year? And to me, the answer is yes. And that I think I just think there's less risk with Flacco not coming off an injury versus Kirk, who is not even released and will, like we said, has competition. Like Flacco worked here. We saw it. We know it.
If I'm doing that, I'm just giving Jameis Winston a run game. If I'm doing something like that, I'm just giving Jameis Winston a running game.
Dude, Flacco's 40. We got to factor that in.
Is he 40 or is he 41?
I think he's 41.
You have to factor it in, man.
I know.
I'm not saying don't do. I'm just saying,
I just don't think. I think
the list of guys who succeed at that age is pretty small.
I know. That's fair. But
and he was shit last year. Don't sugarcoat it. Joe Flacco was shit.
Well, I acknowledge that. He was also shit before he signed with the Browns. Like, I just think there was a connection there that made sense and worked. Like, I get it. He throws the ball to the other team too many times. But, like, for him, the way he came off the couch with no prep and just fit in the Stefanski offense, like it was nothing, just showed me something. And that Kirk has the ties too, right? Kirk, him and Stefanski do as well. So you could make that argument. I'm just deathly afraid of your options being Kenny Pickett, still not recovered Kirk Cousins, and a rookie you need to develop. That is my nightmare scenario at this point. Like, if Kirk's healthy, maybe there's some longevity there. But that's my fear. Is we talked on this show so many times about these players coming off injury, and we don't know what their timeline is, and we sure as hell know that the Browns don't seem to be up to snuff with helping these guys rehab from injuries. That evidence is rampant. So I'm just terrified that Kirk's either not going to be what he was. I don't know what percent, because what was Kirk Cousins as a percentage of himself last year? Like 50, 45, something. I mean, he got benched for Michael Penix and in a division that they could have waltzed to win on a team that has talent on both sides of the ball. I just like the Atlanta Falcons roster, top to bottom, is probably better than the Browns, in my opinion. And Kirk,
skill position wise, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And their defense is pretty damn good too.
I would take the Browns defense over Atlanta's easily. But Atlanta has a dope offensive line, run blocking wise. We never saw Jameis run Kevin's offense. That's still the biggest.
Right.
The fact that he handed those off right when that happened, we'd have at least some knowledge. I think he gives you the exact same stuff Flacco does. We didn't get to see it.
Mm-hmm. Which is honestly a crime, because Winston's the youngest of all these guys to talk about. Yeah. And like, if you go with Jacob's theory and say, hey, give Winston a running game, and maybe he can be that guy for you, then it's just entirely frustrating that they didn't get to do that already and at least see that.
Yeah, so that we would know, because
Right.
then we could be like, because he had some success.
Yeah,
he had
did.
a good amount of success.
How down would we be on Jerry Jeudy right now had Winston not played?
Oh God,
we'd be like, oh, it's a disaster.
You're right.
He'd be like second worst contract they've ever signed. Because he had freaking what, seven games he had like 200 yards with Watson.
Yeah, that was
like 270.
Right. He finished sixth in the league in receiving.
Yes.
He had like what, 1,200 yards?
Yeah, over 1,200. Just the for reference, the lines from the books was like 750. He just blew all. He had a breakout year. He was a home run trade, and you're right. Winston did unlock him. So, but I don't know. It just seems like. Do you get the vibe that the Jameis Winston bridge is burned? We've heard nothing about Jameis and the Browns. Nothing. I mean, unless you guys have.
Well, it's not. I've heard some.
You have? Okay.
He's on the table. It's
subscribers to the OBR now.
The domino game is Kirk Cousins. We have to wait to see what happens there before these other dominoes start to move.
Okay.
We're not going to make anything.
I think it's like that across the league. It's scary to wait. Casey's 100% right about that. But I think a lot of teams are waiting because I think a lot of quarterbacks are waiting. They're like, okay, what's going to be there? Because Kirk's
you got Aaron, you got Russell, right? So
yeah.
Who do the Giants end up with? Who do the Titans end up with? Like
Steelers too.
Fuck them.
Well, I agree, but they're going to have one of them.
Yeah.
Dude, can we talk about why the fuck the Jets gave $40 million to Justin Fields?
They must have a plan. Steelers were offering 2 years, $30 million, and the Jets offered 40 in 2 years.
I think it was 40. I think it was like 40 with like 33 guaranteed.
30 over 30 guaranteed, and the Steelers were offering 30 but 20 guaranteed.
I think the Jets are just hoping that, like, Fields is still pretty young, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think they're just hoping. They say we've got Breece Hall in his prime, we've got Garrett Wilson here.
Hey, he's also almost the same age as Tyler Sheck.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go. Well, let me ask you this though: if the Jets let's say the Jets didn't sign Justin Fields, right? Who is like the quarterback that you would have said on the free agent market that would like fit best there?
Okay. Sorry, I wasn't listening.
No, you're okay. Let me ask you again. Let's say the Jets didn't sign Justin Fields. Who's the free agent quarterback that you would have said that's better than Justin Fields for them?
It was the money for me. It was giving him that money. I'm not saying I hate the signing because you put him back with Garrett Wilson. I like that a lot. Him and Garrett Wilson, like, they had some days together.
Right. And when Fields was with DJ Moore, he had a hell of a time with him too. But I wanted to just bring this up because I think this is an important piece of all of these conversations. To me, the Bengals, because they can't spend money like other teams, are
so fucked by us.
Right. And by the Steelers, right, with DK Metcalf's contract. The Bengals to me could be like a juggernaut in their own right, but their finances are holding them back. So I feel like that's really creating turmoil with their team and is probably going to be their undoing. The Steelers, maybe they'll sign Aaron Rodgers and go with the veteran quarterback route again. But I think they're beatable. I'm not going to disrespect them and say they're bad because they're just going to win 10 games and go to the playoffs like they always do. But I think they're beatable. So then I'm looking around this division right now and saying 2 of the 3 opponents you have are certainly beatable. certainly beatable to me. Now, the Ravens are their own menace, but I just think there's an opportunity here if the Browns can figure out their quarterback situation to at least be 1-2 with Baltimore in the division in the outlook of the future, because the Steelers are too prideful to tank and get one of those elite quarterback prospects. I don't know what's going to happen with DK and George Pickens. That is a weird personality.
I was about to say, how
thing.
long does it take for them to fist fight?
Right.
2 days in training camp?
Exactly. And this Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, T. Higgins stuff, like that is bad. I mean, a worst case scenario for them, Burrow could ask out. I don't know if they have another bad year. He could if they're not going to pay anybody else. So all I'm saying is I think that's why I'm so gung ho on like just finding the long-term quarterback answer and finding it right now, because I see an opportunity in the division. I just think there is to be, and if you tell me they can be 1-2 with Baltimore competing for it, that's a great place to be, considering the history of this division.
Also, Cornelius Lucas.
Yeah. Hell of a run blocker.
Cornelius Lucas signed at like 1 a.m. They're just like, at 1 a.m, we're going to sign a veteran tackle. And I looked at the data. I have not had a chance to actually watch him play. I've read some people that have. He is significantly better than every other person that took snaps at left tackle last year in Cleveland. He's not a career starter, but like if you threw him out there week 1, I'd feel a lot better than I did at any point at left tackle last year.
Yeah,
I think
his age is the only thing is sort of a red flag. Dude's going to be 34 in July, like that's. But he had turned in a great year last year.
Yeah,
so he's not coming in on a down year. It's but it's at that age, you're an offensive lineman. At some point, it goes the other way. You just got to hope it's not this year.
Yep.
Is he better than James Hudson?
Yes, and James
He is
Hudson got more money.
significantly better than anybody last year. Yeah, he did not. He didn't get more money. You're right. Oh my God.
Yeah, James Hudson got more money than he did.
Where did James Hudson go?
The Giants.
Giants.
Oh man.
All that reminds me. I gotta call my buddy that's a Giants fan.
Wow.
I still maintain James Hudson be a guard, he'd be okay.
Hey, I said that on the OBR show last night. I'm like, why didn't they let him play guard? At least try it.
They didn't have enough tackles, man.
Well, that's true.
They got to solve that shit. Okay, so let's circle back to the Dart conversation. So, Jacob, where do you propose that they take a swing on Dart?
They if they want him, they have to take him at 33. Like,
would you take him over Josh Connerly?
No. I don't think I'll have to choose that, though.
Someone's going to slip outside that first round.
Somebody is.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
That's.
Yeah. So this draft. So, like, somebody asked me today the difference between Will Howard and Jackson Dart. I said, Jackson Dart's a better athlete. He has a better arm. But Will, and overall, he has a much higher ceiling. But Will Howard's floor is significantly higher. So it's like, but Josh Connerly, in the limited supply of offensive tackles that I think are good. Like, if you're talking about interior offensive linemen, there's a fuck ton of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would rather take Josh Connerly and then take one of the high floor quarterbacks.
Because let's keep in mind the money being given to offensive tackles that are like
James Hudson.
Medium at best is nutso bananas bonkers, right? So if you can have a tackle under a rookie contract that is going to be your tackle, I think I got to take the tackle. I think I got to. Unless you think Jackson Dart is just But from what Jacob said, with the unknowns of him, I don't know. I think I'd rather take a tackle.
I think Connerly's fantastic. He's offensive tackle 3 for me in a class that really drops off after about 4.
So you got Mimbu, Simmons, and then him.
Bimbo Banks than him.
So you got Simmons behind Connerly.
Simmons
Do you think he escapes the first round because of his injury?
Simmons' injury is why he's where he's at. Because a lot of people are like, well, if he didn't get hurt, and my retort is, yeah, I agree if he had kept up the level of play. But that elite level of play from him, we only saw 6 games of it. And that was before they got into the Big Ten play. Mm-hmm. So, they weren't playing Oregon when it happened. But, last year, Simmons was good. Now, he
transitioned from San Diego State.
And he transitioned from the right side to the left side.
Yeah.
So not only did he go from San Diego State to Ohio State, at the same time he switched positions. I am very sold on Josh Connerly. But my point was Jackson Dart, quarterback, positional value. But if he had kept that play up, he would have been tackle 1. But we don't know if he could keep that play up because his elite tape was only 6 games. Mm-hmm. And then he's injured. And then when I thought all along it was a torn ACL. It was a patellar.
Mm-hmm.
That scares me even more. There's a chance he falls out of the top 10, out of the first round, but people still view him as a top 20 prospect. So if he is there at 33, I know we talked about not taking injured players anymore. Oh.
Here we are again.
Fucking. But that's how you get those steals.
Right. You're gonna. I think the later they get in the draft, the more risk I'm good with them taking. 33 is 33. That might be too rich for my blood to take a giant risk. Because I just don't think they've been so starved of picks. They just so desperately need, they need. My dream scenario for the Browns is they come out of this draft with 4 or 5 solid contributors.
Yeah, that's a home run draft.
Yeah. That's dream scenario. You get 4 or 5 guys.
Picks. You have 11 picks. You have 11 picks. You only got to hit on half of them.
Yeah. Yeah, not even.
Do you have 10 now?
You have 11. You had 12.
I think we only had 11. I think that AB was right.
No.
We thought we had 12. He kept saying we have 11 picks in the upcoming draft.
I'm not out on Sanders at 2. I still hope that because if they take Sanders at 2, they believe in him, right? They're telling you they believe in him. So I am in on Sanders at 2. And I don't know. I have no idea. Is that? I mean, could I just can't see Shedeur falling that far. Although listening to Zach Jackson, he says that everybody that he talked to at Indy has very low opinions on Shedeur. So I don't know. We've seen crazy things happen. So yeah. I guess I don't know.
We're still 40 days out. That was the noise, but it's hard for me to imagine he falls out of the first.
It is for me as well because the league is just so quarterback starved at this point. It's like we saw it in last year's draft, right? And I still maintain that if the quarterback that the Browns come out of this draft with is Bo Nix level, I think they can win with that. I think they will be a playoff team with Bo Nix level quarterback play. Is that a hot take? I don't know.
I just can't see them starting this year, no matter who it is, unless it's literally the first or second player. I can't see them starting that guy.
I see.
If Jackson Dart is Bo Nix, and you take him in the second round, I don't think he's starting.
I guess I just disagree because I think if they're a medium team, they're going to have to figure out if they need to draft another quarterback in 2026, and I think that'll just push whoever it is they pick this year into action. Like if
I
they're
guarantee the
somewhere
job,
around
bro.
medium,
They fuck around with that experiment and win 4 games, then Kevin Stefanski isn't coaching the next year. Then AB ain't making that pick.
that's true.
I
Well,
just that's the reason Miles fucked up in campaign to get out on the wrong year. If these guys weren't in a must-win scenario, if this was say this year goes bad and Miles would have tried it next year when a new GM came in, he probably would have got his way because that guy wouldn't
right.
be married. He'd have a longer leash. He could, view Miles as the picks. AB didn't have that luxury. Stefanski ain't got the luxury of saying, "Oh, we'll experiment this year."
That's true. Yeah.
It changes the whole narrative for me.
I think whatever veteran they ultimately set, my prediction right now is whatever veteran they ultimately set on is going to be the day one starter. And then short of a playoff contention type season, I think whoever they draft is going to see the field. If they're competing for the playoffs, if they're in a playoff spot or on the fringe, I think they'll let the veteran keep going. But if not, I think that they're going to be like, do we need to trade up in 2026 or do we need to try to get one of these other quarterbacks? That's just kind of how I see things going at this point. If they
on the record,
yeah,
for them to put the white flag up says they're giving up their jobs.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So additional 6th and 7th, Jason, that's already factored into the draft pick number.
Yeah, they're just different positions than we thought they were. Because we thought it was 257 and whatever else.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, this has been quite the episode of just thoughts and just off what the Browns could do so many different ways. So I'm hoping that by the next time we see everybody here Tuesday, that we have a much clearer picture of where they're going, because they're definitely going to make more moves. And that's one thing we've seen from Andrew Berry all the time is the longer this goes, the cheaper these guys get. They always make moves throughout the process.
Yeah.
So sorry if personally, if I was too negative to open the show. You guys both have helped me calm down. So I appreciate you both for that. And everybody that's been here, we've had a really active chat. Please like and subscribe. We love you. Trying to, pursue this whole dream. But I'll tell you, by next week, we're going to have a lot more to talk about, and I can't wait. So with that being said, this is Kirk Cousins coming to Cleveland episode of the Barking Brown Show. Nick, it's Jacob, that's Casey. Go Browns.
Yeehaw.